relatable for us, right? Because we want to be able to see and hold our hero and put our places in the story. But the hero that we worship, instead of us having to have a hero that we can relate to, our hero relates to us. He comes down from heaven, he leaves the throne to come down and take his place on earth, to feel pain and hurt and brokenness, to have broken relationships and to feel the pain that we feel every single day. That's the hero that we get to worship, which is amazing. And he's the hero that dies on the cross and raises again 3 days later, that changes everything, right? It changes absolutely everything. And so I believe that God has created story as the way for us to communicate, or for him to communicate his nature to us and his character to us. There is a reason why inside of every single human being is this desire to crave story. It's because it's all pointing back to the gospel. It's all pointing back to the gospel to me. And that excites me, right? So whether you're an artist, or you're a musician, or you're a graphic designer, or you're a writer, a poet, or whatever, all of a sudden story, if you're a believer in Jesus, should change for you. It should be something that is awe-inspiring, where it is God's craft. It is God as the master storyteller who is communicating to us through story, and we get the chance, just the chance to imitate him in the way that we craft and tell stories. So that's story to me, but I feel like for storytellers, there's another kind of question, like why are you here on a Saturday morning? Like seriously, like why would you give up your Saturday morning to come to this? That's a good question. Like seriously, why are you here? I mean, it's amazing, right? Like we're drawn to story, but I think there's something about people who are drawn to story, the craft of telling stories, that are just different from other people, right? You have this burning desire. You see the world through a lens that's completely different than most other people, right? You feel things that most other people feel, but you have this urge to try to communicate it to another person through a medium of story. And it's crazy, right? I mean, here we have like an abstract thought like pain or suffering or discontentment or joy, right? All things that we feel from just normal life. And you have in your heart a desire to communicate that to somebody else through your art. Because it speaks and it connects and it communicates, right? That to me is a special thing. If you have that burden in you, which I think if you're here on a Saturday morning, when it was nice outside, I think it is again, to give that up, there's something about you that's just special and different than me, straight up. And that's why we're here today. Because I believe every single movement that has ever happened has happened from a handful of storytellers telling stories that moved people to action. Right? I mean, think about any moment in your life where your life changed dramatically and there's a story there. There's somebody that intervened and said, you know what? Or something that happened in your life where you had to change and you were transformed. And our city, honestly, and our church is in need of storytellers. When you think about the darkness that we face every single day, whether it's poor education in our city, whether it's foster care, whether it's divorce, whether it's pain and broken relationships, whatever that may be, story has a place. And so I think a lot of times creatives feel like, okay, I can't, fix the toilets at the church, or I want to serve, I want to give, or I can, can't be the missionary that goes over and builds this house, and does whatever. Like I can't do that. But you have an ability that God has given you and a desire that God has given you to tell stories in a way that move people to action, transform, and change our community. And so what we're trying to do today is create a dialogue and a conversation. We are not by any means experts. I'm not an expert storyteller. I probably get to play around with a little bit more than others. We have leaders who we're going to introduce in a minute. We're going to break up into different groups to kind of start to tie in and try to figure out where our hearts are beating. And so we're going to break up into a couple different disciplines, what we call disciplines, and don't let this be like something that like you feel like you're being put into a silo. But what we want to do is we want to have a conversation to talk through how, first of all, why you're here, create some kind of community here, and inspire us to come together and create something that's powerful. I mean, if you think about the people in this room, what could happen if we all started running the same direction, telling stories, whatever that may be, whether you're an artist or a poet, or you work in insurance, but you take shots on the weekends because that's just who you are and what you love to do. What if we could create and develop and tell stories in light of the gospel that aren't always completely and totally, like Charlie said, are snapshots of what the gospel looks like? What if we could do that together? Like what could possibly happen in our city if we could move our church and we can move people to action? And so we're going to break up. Amanda, right here, is going to come and kind of explain a little bit about this. So a lot of these people, like, we're going to go through several different disciplines, and what I would love for you to do is kind of think about, okay, which discipline do you feel most passionate about and you have most kind of experience? And it's not, like, seriously, I'm expecting some people, like, picked up a camera on Amazon, like, yesterday, and then people who shoot, like, National Geographic, right? Like, I mean, there's going to be that kind of scope in here, and so don't worry about that, okay? This is like a community of people where we're going to talk through what story means to us, how we get to use it through our art and through our craft, and hopefully build some relationships and start a conversation about what story looks like within our church. So, does that sound like a plan?
Yeah.
Something you want to do? Cool, Amanda.
Welcome, Amanda.
Guys, so excited to have you guys here. We're just excited. We've been talking about this for so many weeks, so it's cool to just see this come to fruition, to see a room full of people that are excited about story, excited about this conversation, and excited about having community. That's what you're looking at today. You're looking at communities of storytellers that you can talk to, meet for coffee, go take pictures together, anything like that. So really take this in as an opportunity for future for you. So, meeting people and networking and all that stuff. Social media, if you guys take any pictures, if you hear a quote that you love that inspired you, if you have any thoughts for us or anything, we would love for you to tweet that out, put it on Facebook. The hashtags will be FrontlineOK, and they're also use Story Workshop. So 2 hashtags for that. A little bit of logistics. If you guys will look in your books, you'll find this little card here. We would love for everybody to fill this out. This is how we will know you are here. We would love to continue to communicate with you guys and network with you guys and bring you into this conversation. So if you guys will fill this out, you can fill it out in your group and you'll give it to your group leader before you leave today. Also, if you don't know this building, the bathrooms are straight through. If you go out that way or that way, it's through the sanctuary. So just past the sanctuary, the bathrooms are in the back there. If you guys will also pull out this little tiny card, this tells you what workshops we have. So I'm going to introduce those people. Derek Watson, as you met, right here. If you're involved in film, you guys will stay in this room. Hillary Burkhart, she's right here in the gray. She is doing visual art. So if you're painting, drawing, any of those kind of visual art sort of things, graphic design would probably lie there as well. You'll go with her. And she is going to be in the theater, which is down
in the back and then down the stairs.
So if you guys will follow her, if you want to be in that workshop. Corey Hall, the spoken word extraordinaire, she's out in the hall there. She is going to be upstairs in Charlie's office. So follow her. Lainey and Leah, they're back there. Will you guys come in here so they can see what your face looks like, just in case? Sweet. Lainey and Leah are back there. They're waving their hands, flat shirts. They are going to be downstairs in the cafe. And then Rex, where are you? Rex, over here. Photography, he's going to be up in his office, which is right up the stairs up here. And then Dustin Ragland, right here, he's music, and he will be right through there to the sanctuary. If you guys are like, man, I don't fit in any of those, come see me, Charlie, or Derek up here. Okay.
Are there any other questions?
Yeah.
Before we break for a little bit? We're going to break for a bit, and then we'll come back in here to close for the last 15 minutes.
Thanks, guys.
Well, I would think you would go to Friday.